The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. This is Kathy Cooley and David Dietman coming to you with the MSS Friday Night webinar. It was decided kind of at the last minute that I would go ahead and do some teaching on writing web blogs. Sorry. So forgive me if I have a little bit of searching to do, but I'm going to do the best I can. Right now I would like to ask first if there's any questions that anybody would like to ask about MSS before we get started. And thanks, William. Oh, David, how do I enlarge this chat box? All I see is a little tiny window.
You just scroll it out like on the corner. G'day everybody, how's everyone today?
Okay. I think
Did you unlock it from the
I'm
panel?
still getting a really small. There we go. I'm getting a little bit more space there. All right. Just so everybody knows, William told me to relax because we were all friends. So, and he's right. Shoot. Forgive me. I'm playing around with the buttons here.
It's all right. It's Casual Friday today.
Hi, Roland. Yes, it is. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this on the Weebly site. That's Weebly.com. It's a free site, real simple and easy to use. If you can see by my box up here at the top, they have everything in pre-designed. No, I don't want to navigate away. Yeah, actually I do. They have everything in pre-designed elements. You can, if you know how to do it, make some changes to what they have. But if you're new to marketing and blogging, this is a really good place to start. But as I've found now that I've got a little bit more knowledge, it can be very limiting later on. And I'm actually in the process of figuring out how to transfer it to WordPress so that I can do more. Okay? I take it that since nobody said anything that there are no questions about MSS. And I'm not seeing any responses on that. Are you, David?
Not at the moment, no, but there's a couple of new people in here, so.
Okay. Yeah. A couple things I do want to say about MSS. First of all, for the new people, just a little background. Marketing Survival Skills was originally started as a way for Mike and Adam to centralize their training for their downline in their other businesses. And it was such a hit that it just kind of exploded into its own business. As a result, they've had some growing pains, and they're creating a new and more improved website for us to use, which is why it's momentarily free, because the changes were taking a little longer than they had planned. And it's also why some of the things you find in the back office are a little outdated. They had the option of continuing to try to keep up with all the changes, especially with Facebook, and try to do the new website, or just concentrate on the new one and get everything done all at once, and that's what they opted to do. Most of the videos that have outdated information, if you scroll down underneath the video, there will be text telling you what the change is. You got to look for it. I just want to give you a heads up on that. We should be having a new website out here shortly, and I'm, for one, am looking forward to it. 8 months ago, I started with Marketing Survival Skills. I had been in online marketing off and on for years and not ever been really successful with it. But once I got busy with Marketing Survival Skills, I found that I learned where I was making mistakes. I'm not getting rich by quite yet, but I do see a definite difference and can see some changes coming around the corner. And I've definitely increased the income that I was making. One of the things I wanted to point out, and this is what I was going to do my blog on, was the fact that the first thing Mike said to me that I really stuck in my mind was the best way to learn was to teach. And he's not saying go out and tell everybody that you're as smart as a whip and know everything when you don't, because people will catch on really quick that you don't if you do that. But basically what he means is when someone poses a question, go and look up the answer. And if you get the answer before somebody responds, then you tell them what you got. And in that way you start to learn and you're starting to teach. And when somebody asks me a question, generally I will go and look up the answer if I don't know it. And if I don't know it, I'll refer you to somebody who I think can help you, or keep looking till I find it. Like I'm not real big on Craigslist. I really don't do Craigslist. I have attended a few of the webinars they did on it, but if you ask me about it, I'll probably refer you to the webinar and maybe suggest you talk to David because it's a little too confusing for me. But I try to give you something to go on so you can find your answers. And that's basically what you could do to teach yourself a little bit faster, because as you're teaching it, you're embedding it in your own mind and, kind of making those seeds that you planted grow roots. And over time, it tends to give people, to give you credibility in the eyes of others, especially if you're doing it for people who aren't be making you money. And I have found, as a result of doing that, I've actually increased my income because some people have income and joined me in what I was making money at, and thereby increasing what I was making. So it's an excellent way to not only learn, but to establish yourself, build your list, and eventually bring people in to what you're doing. Build your relationships. All right, now I'm going to shut the questions box, David, so if I got questions, I need you to tell me so I can answer them, okay? I guess David can hear me. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I just had my mic muted.
Okay. Okay. Somebody's got their hand up, but I don't see it. Never mind. All right, and I'm still having just a touch of some breathing issues, so if I'm a little raspy, that's why, but don't worry about it. As you can see, this is my blog page. I've got my lovely mug up here that David created for me in one of the webinars, and a little bit about me. Then I have something that I find a lot of people enjoy having on their sites, is the globe that spins and lets people know where the bulk of my people come from, and as it spins around, it'll show you that I'm actually online. Doesn't give my name, just my location. Then I have my Twitter, and your like button to Facebook really is a big plus. If you don't know how to do that, I think David has some instruction on it, and I can probably help you, but it will take me a little bit because I haven't done it in a while. But I found after I put this like button on here, it increased my views quite a bit because people from Facebook were coming back to my blog to look at what was being posted. And then, of course, I'm an affiliate or an associate with, I don't make money with them, but I connected with Network Blogs, my LinkedIn profile. I have the I Love From Work at Home forum on here, but honestly, I haven't used it very much lately. And then, of course, my archives and my RSS feed. This one, however, if you ask me how to do it, I'm going to refer you to somewhere else because I honestly don't know what I did to get it there. I just kept messing with it until it came up. So I learn that one again. And in here, what we want to do with your blog is you want to look for some ideas. Let me cancel this and go back to my last one first. There are many things you can do with blogging. It doesn't always have to be instructions or teaching. If it's something that you've learned recently or that made a difference in your life, it's important and needs to be on there. Like this one, I'm doing a series right now, working from home series, and this is my second one. I titled it A Nudge for Change, and what makes this different is I actually had an episode in cooking last week that brought to my attention how much the way I do things has changed. And from that, I was able to turn it around and create a lesson for marketing. And that's basically all you really have to do. And I want to point out that you do want pictures, but if you're going to do pictures, you need to make sure that you put a title to the picture that's related to the blog and a link going to something else that's also related to the blog or connecting to another place on your website. Sometimes you can connect to another person's website. It's kind of a cool way to get your backlinks, but I wouldn't do that too much unless you're really, good friends with the person that you're linking to. I have pictures to break up the text, especially in this one. I have 3 of them because they're kind of long. You need to make sure your pictures are related to your blog, and you don't want so many that they clutter up the page, and they shouldn't be very big either. They need to be spaced out, just like mine are. This one here is because I've gotten so used to using the microwave that when I went back to cooking on the stove and in the oven, I kind of had some issues, which is why I put the rusty sign. Even though I've been a cook for many, many years, I didn't realize I had gone that far with the microwave. And then, of course, I've got a picture down at the end. And then I've got my tweets and my like button and a place for people to add comments. The blog before that I did on relieving stress, because a lot of people find that when they start working from home that they expect everything to be hunky-dory and all perfect, and it's not. It's a job. It's you being the boss, and if you don't work, you don't get paid. If you're sick, there's no one to take your place. It has its unique challenges. I've had many, many people who think that because I work from home, that means that I'm free anytime they want me, and I can just get up and go. And that's true to a certain extent. But if I don't take my time to do my work, if I don't set a schedule for doing that work, it doesn't get done because I'm always out doing things with everybody else. So there are some unique ideas, unique things that you have to learn while you're marketing that keep you out of trouble. I started a draft for a blog. I'll show you real quick, but I haven't finished it yet, and I'm not actually going to be doing on this. This one is actually going to be about deciding to work from home in exchange or instead of working for somebody else. But that one I'm still kind of mulling around what I want to do with it. So I haven't done it yet. And let's go back to the publish live. Oh, no. Actually, cancel. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Yes, exit. Oops, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I don't want to publish something that I haven't finished yet. Come on, computer. Sorry about that. Let my computer reset itself. So, any questions so far while I'm resetting?
Kath?
All right, I guess not. Assume we still have...
Everyone's still here?
There it goes. It's loading again. If you're do not have an idea on how you want to blog or what you want to blog, you can go online and kind of scroll through the blog sites of other people and get a general idea. You might poll your friends that are in marketing for things that they're having a problem with. Oh, hi, William. Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. And you can get the ideas from these blogs, but don't copy them. You don't want to go word for word. In fact, you really don't even want to copy and paste. You want your words to say the same, to do the blog. You can say the same thing, but say it in your own words, because Google will find out that you copied it, and then they'll blacklist you, and nobody will ever see your site. So you do not want to copy word for word unless you're giving credit to the person that you're copying from. And in that regards, if I'm going to copy from somebody and give them credit, I also include one of their links in the blog that I'm doing, which gives validity to the fact that I'm acknowledging that they did it. Now, I don't know if that's essential, but I've not run into any problems by doing that. And to me, that's just the ethical way of borrowing someone's information. All right, William, as far as getting pictures, if you do not have them already on your computer, because William asked how you get the pictures, I go over to Google Images, and I've already typed in teaching marketing to learn, so it automatically came up with pictures for teaching. But you can do just about anything. You can see where I've got the learn and leads. Actually, I'm going to do that learn and lead one. I right-click on it. No, wait a minute. Come on. Give me there it is, where it says save image. You do not want to copy the image location. You want to save it to your desktop. It's much easier unless you know how to save it to someplace on the internet. It's just simpler to do it this way.
Can I just add one thing, Kath?
I like to repost. Huh?
Can I just add one thing?
I'm sorry, David, what'd you say?
I was just going to say, with the pictures, when you do save them, the best thing to do is save them under one of the keywords you're going for on your blog, instead of just having a strange number or something like that on it. Like, if you've got a keyword for a particular business or something like that, I always save them as, say it was David Detman, I'd save it as David Detman 1, and then the next one I'd save it as 2. Or if I was doing it on a certain keyword, like work from home, I'd put in work from home when I save the picture. It just looks better when Google goes through your site and sees which it's related to what you're talking about.
Well, that's something I didn't know. See, I learned something myself today. And that goes back to my point that by teaching, you learn. And when I first started, I actually just kind of pushed MSS aside. Somebody introduced me to it, and I went, yeah, okay, and went on about my business. And then one of my upline actually came to me and said, I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me about something on the website? Because he's up in the years and was just getting started on the internet. And in the process of showing him what he needed to know, I went, oh, this is really not a bad place to be. I should check this out some more, and started learning what I needed to do. And that's why I say, and you know what? I actually just found the title of my blog. I was sitting here trying to decide what I wanted to do, and I'm thinking that since when I put in the teaching marketing to learn, the words learn and lead came up, I'm going to title my blog Working From Home Series number 3, because I am doing a series on it, and that is the key to what I'm doing, and then after it I'm going to post it as learning by leading, because I was sitting here trying to debate that when we started tonight, what I wanted to title it. There are ways to get your CEO, search engine optimization, forgive me for not getting that right. Mike and them suggest that you put your keywords into the search engines and see what comes up. I don't really emphasize paying that much attention to it when you're first getting started, because it'll drag out the process and log you down and slow you down. As you can see here, there are several, like I believe that number is 13 million, who have done a blog similar to Learning to Lead, but I'm doing learning while leading and not learning to lead. So actually, I should put that in, learning while leading. That lowers it to 9 million. So just by changing that one word, I changed my odds on how many people have done blogs already on this or provided information. If you're going to be doing your CEO, you want the number up here. The smaller it is, the better your chances of getting on the front page of Google. But when you're just getting going, I wouldn't concentrate so much on the CEO. It tends to slow you down quite a bit. And the important thing to get started is just to get started. Let's see, working from home. I'm sorry, series number 3, learning while leading. I capitalize the first letter on all of my titles, except for if I use something like to or and. Some people capitalize the entire first line. It's up to you. Now I am going to put pictures in, so I'm going to go up here and grab my paragraph with pictures link and put that in. And then this section here becomes my title, my first heading title. If you're blogging for CEO, it's important to have your first heading be the same thing it's not, I'm going to just type it in because it's not wanting to copy. You want it to be the same thing as what the title is of your series or your blog. And this is one of these areas where with Weebly things get a little bit preset and you can't change it. No, I don't want to do bold. There we go. Because they have very limited sizes and colors. Let's do that one. And there's no way to change the font. It's always the same thing. Let me see. But you don't want to choose a font that doesn't stand out. You don't want to choose one that is cursive or real fancy because people can't see it. And people who have trouble with revision are just going to X out of your blog and move on down the road. You also want to make sure that you have plenty of white space between your words, and try not to make it really, really long. People are only going to stay on your site for maybe a minute. 2 if it's extremely good. But after that, you've pretty much lost them. So you got to make your point and make it quickly. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the picture because I know that's my first picture and I'm going to want it. And then my type will automatically go around the picture. Come on. And I will probably get 2 or 3 other pictures. Don't want to pull them up yet until I know what I'm going to write.
Kath, can I just add something in as well?
Sure.
I've
You're
been
the
doing
expert. You go ahead and pop in anytime.
I've been doing a course on blogging lately, and one of the tips which they gave me on blogging is there's actually 3 different types of readers. There's visual readers who look at pictures and videos. There's people who sit there and read all your information, and there's people who skim through the information. So you sort of got to try and cover the 3 different people and point them to where you want them to actually go at the end of the blog. If you are sending them elsewhere, or, you want feedback, that type of thing. So I just thought I'd add that in.
That's an excellent point. Now, I don't know yet where I'm going to link that. David, if you happen to have any blogs on this that you think would be appropriate, I would be happy to link them to the picture. Just give me the link so I can do that.
Off the top of my head, probably not.
Well, think about it while I'm typing. Now, what I did while he was talking was I went in where it says add caption, and I added the caption learning by leading, which is in my title, except that instead of doing while leading, I did by leading. And I actually might change that title to by because it makes it shorter. Deleted the wrong thing. I'm not going to make this one too fancy because I'm sitting here doing it for you guys and I don't want to drag it out. This thing I learned. Actually, I'm going to change that from the first thing to number 1, most important thing I learned when I to work online was that it was best to learn by leading. And that is my title. And I'm putting that in there again because, again, it makes it something that Google's going to pay attention to. They're looking for your title in your text, and they'll look for it over and over again. And that did not increase in size, so let me do that again. There we go. And I capitalized it to make it easy to see. Then I'm going to go down and I'm going to put a little bit of, well, actually first I'm going to go back. No, so I don't have to put my information in again. Now I'm going to move down because with Weebly, it changes back to the default setting every time you drop down to the next paragraph. So if I don't want to have to reset it, I have to type the first letter of the next line before I drop down. Shoot. It didn't work anyway. There we go. To be the key to what okay, I'm going to do just a couple more lines and then I'm going to stop, and I'll come back and add more to it after we're done because I don't want to have you guys sitting there just staring at me being bored. Let's see, I'm going to put exactly what I just told you guys. I don't. Something that you're not, but rather that when you or oops, you don't know, then go and look it up and find the answer. Then you can okay, I'm going to stop there. Now what I would do from this point, because I've pretty much done this with the first two paragraphs, is I would again go up and grab another box, bring it down, and create another box to type in. And this is not coming up right. No, I don't want to load the picture yet. Alright, now I've got my second box, and I will have to go back and reset the type. But this allows me to put the pictures in. Now with Weebly, I can go back in and put the pictures on the right-hand side. Because my box comes up here, it says replace image. I want a thin border. I usually do it in black, and I do want it on the left position. I can go in advance and change the margins here so that it does what I want it to. I like to have a little bit of margin around everything. And I'm going to stop right here and go ahead and publish this so you can see it. And then I'll go back and edit it later to add the rest of what I want to do, so you're not sitting there watching the whole thing. And I will post the link to it in Skype if you guys want to see it when I'm done. I'm going to backlink one of the pictures to MSS. Probably going to pick an archive on blogging that Mike has already done and connect it to that, as well as mention it at the bottom. So it will be an MSS blog, which won't violate any rules there. Now that it's been published there, I have to publish it again. Now Weebly does do a paid site. I have not done that, so I don't know if there's any difference there. Come on. My computer's being slow today. David, do you have anything you want to add while we're waiting? I think David ran off.
Sorry, I had geese in the background.
There we go.
Sorry, what did you ask, Kath?
I said, do you have anything you want to add while this is loading?
Only thing I wanted to add is to do with the videos for the now I've totally got a mind block. For the Google Plus, the first one is now up. I will put that link in a minute in the chat box, and I'm hoping to get the second one up today. So I finally worked out how to get all these
Awesome.
up. I've had to change the coding and do all sorts of things, but for some reason that when we do the recordings they're not rendering, so that was the problem. All of a sudden I keep getting errors every time I stop the webinar, but I managed to retrieve them all and sat there for quite some time. So I'll post the link to the first one in now. I'll just go and find it. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll have 1 and 2 up today. or tonight your time, probably up in the morning. But
Okay.
once it's up.
Let's see if that goes through. Yes, that's the link to the actual blog. If you give me about 30 minutes after we're done with this, I will have it finished. Most blogs you're going to need probably an hour or two to research and look up and write. Make sure that your spelling is correct and you're using the right formatting for the words. Because people tend to look at misspellings and assume that you're not very smart. So try to do the best you can. I usually recommend before posting a blog that you let it sit for a while, maybe an hour or two, or overnight, and come back and read it again. 99% of the time, you're going to find that there's a sentence that doesn't sound quite right, or something spelled wrong, or you used the wrong word for what you were trying to say, and then you can go back in and fix it prior to publishing it. This is something that is really, really important when you're blogging, to try and make sure that you stay on top of the way you spell things. Don't kick yourself if you do make a mistake, because they do happen, but do try to get as close to accurate as you can, so that you are not, so you're presenting yourself as a professional. The other thing you want to do, and I'm going to go down and do this. Okay, why did it just come up with that? Oh, okay. Let me go back to my actual blog. I'm going to show you the comments. You need to pay attention to the comments. Try to, this one I didn't realize when I first did it. This was not supposed to be here. All right. My page is not loaded yet. I'm glad I looked at that, because I thought I had canceled it from being posted to live, and apparently I didn't. Basically what I'm trying to say when you get a comment is that you need to respond to it. People like it when you respond to them. Come on. Why is it not letting, oh, because I'm on the wrong spot. That's why. All right.
Okay, Kath, William has a question for you about, can you write it on a word processing program and cut and paste it into your blog?
Sure. There's how you get it to your blog is not doesn't matter, as long as it's not something that you're copying from somebody else. And even if you're going to put the same blog that you wrote in another site, Mike says it's a good idea to change up some of the wording so it's not an exact copy. Now, he did blog series, probably 3 or 4 of them in the webinar archives. If you have access to that, it's a really good idea to go over them, because he goes into it more in detail than I do. And as I've said at the beginning, I'm not an expert at it, but I do okay. I haven't checked my rankings lately, but they weren't too bad. The last time I checked them, they were pretty good with the CEO sites. So, all right, it's loading again. But basically, people like it when you respond to their comments. When you go back in and you look at it and you say, oh, you know, individually is best. With Weebly, I can't really do that. I have to do a group because it doesn't give me the access, at least not with the free part. So I just kind of do, I mention their name and I try to make the comment relative to what they said so that it relates. And that increases your views as well, because they'll get notification that you commented and they'll come back and they'll look. So your site gets more views that way. The way my site is set up, my blog is on a website where I have my businesses and a few other things. This is kind of a passive way of promoting your business, because if they like what they see on your blog, they're going to go look at your other pages and want to see what you have there. And again, you need to make sure that if anybody leaves a comment on one of your pages, that you go back and answer it. And I actually posted David's video about me on my homepage. By the way, David, I did that. And I'm not sure if that, I think that backlinks to your YouTube site, doesn't it, since I used the YouTube video?
Yes, it does. It links back to the video on YouTube.
Yeah, which is kind of a good push for your site. And then on my homepage, I discussed each section that is on my site just a little bit, and I used the link back to that page on my site. Like I have my MSS site here, and I have it linked to different things for MSS. And this allows them, you can see with the spacing, how I've broken it up some, so it's not one continuous letter, so to speak. And I even have backlinks to David's site, some to MSS's site, and you know, that helps to build things. So I just wanted to point out the comments as something that you needed to pay attention to, because the first several months that I blogged, I didn't do that. And I found out later that it really makes a difference in the overall perception of your site. My site is, my computer's being obnoxious. I think I might have picked up something. Because it's really working slow. So I'm going to have to go run a scan when we get done here. Come on, computer. Thank you. And I can't get to the toolbar thing because of the bar for the GoToWebinars in the way.
Kath, you can move those bars around at any time.
The one with the orange box, the control panel?
Yeah, you can move any of them.
Can I take that out?
Well, you can just move the whole thing.
Because I can't get... Oh, how do I do that?
Just...
I see.
Yeah, just click on the top of it.
I found it.
Up or down.
Yeah, that allows me the freedom to use my bar here, which works much better. Okay. Okay. Yes, delete the post. Which means I'm going to have to go back and start it over. I probably need to anyway, because I was hitting writer's block with it. All right. Now see, I've proven once again the benefits of teaching and learning, because I have learned by teaching. I want to point out something here. If you notice, I did not put, I actually had spacing between these two paragraphs when I did this, but it came up without the spacing, and it runs together, which is not a really, you know, makes it a lot for someone to take in when they're reading, as opposed to the stopping here before going on to the next one. Some people recommend that you do your blogs in, what do you call that, with points on them for people to follow, and maybe title each section, which makes it easy for them to find. I don't really do that unless it's a really, really long post, or it's well suited to what I'm discussing, like when I did my tips on stress relief, because that was easy to do, a 1, 2, 3 section. The one that I did last time where I was talking about the cooking really didn't fit well with that type of format. So, in fact, let me go in here. All right, and I know that's been removed now. And I'll give you guys this one that you can look over, just an idea for an alternative on blogging. And every once in a while, I can't really think of the lady's name, but somebody I recently was reading a blog for pointed out that blogging is kind of like your meal that you're eating. And you have, different kinds of blogs. You have your sack lunch blog, which is really short and sweet and doesn't contain a whole lot. Then you have your main course, which is kind of what I just posted in the chat box. And then you have some that are like your dessert. And for me, the dessert is going in and just saying, today I just want to post a bunch of inspirational quotes or something funny, which kind of livens up your blog and gives people something to look forward to that's different. And there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as you don't do it all the time. The other thing that's a key to blogging that Mike really emphasized, and anybody I've ever talked to that's had a successful blog says the same thing, which is you do not want to make the blogs, all of your blogs, totally about business unless it's exclusively a business blog. You really are better off doing 95% value, which is where you're giving information that teaches them something or provides something that they need, and only 5% what Mike calls take, which is at the bottom of the blog. You put in, if you want to learn more about this, or something, a call to action with a link to a blog, to a site that you want them to go to that can be business related. This kind of builds your relationship and gives people more reason to want to connect with you, than rather than having it just shoved in their face all the time, business, business, business. Honestly, if I see a blog that's always only talking about a business proposition, I usually stop going and looking at it. It's boring. I've seen it before. I'm not interested in it. So I just move on. And so do most people. And one of the things that Mike said in our early trainings that I really liked was, if you're walking down the sidewalk and I come up to you as a total stranger and start shoving my business into your face and saying, look, 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 you're not going to want anything to do with me. And in fact, if you think about it, in reality, you'd probably have me arrested for harassing you. If you have probably never, ever, ever bought something the first time somebody shoved it in your face. And in fact, it probably turned you off. So if you wouldn't buy it that way, don't present it that way. If you want people to buy from you or to hook up with you, do it in a manner that you would be appealed to. That if somebody presented it to you that way, you would do it that way. You would buy it. Because if you don't want to buy what you're offering, or you won't read what you're offering, nobody else is going to want it either. And that's a good rule of thumb. And to ask yourself, is this something that if I saw it, I would look at? Because if the answer is no, then you need to change what you're doing. And that's pretty much it for right now. Do you have anything else, David, or does anyone have any questions?
I'd just like to say that's absolutely true. One of the things I've found is I have problems with people who just send me their business opportunities all the time. So, you know, like, I like people to get to know people and go from there.
Yeah, me too. There is one thing I did think of when I was reviewing William's question again. It's actually a really good idea if you write your blog in some other program and save it to your computer or save it somewhere else and then put it on your blog, because if for some reason your blog goes down, you want to have a backup of that information. If your blog goes down and you want to go back and set it back up again, you have to have the exact date, the title, and the exact way that the blog was written to put it back in that way for Google to continue acknowledging it. If you put it back in and it doesn't have everything exactly the way it was before, Google's going to treat it like something, like a copycat or different. It's not going to link the same. And I don't know all the details on that. I know it's something that Mike pointed out, and it's in one of his series, so you might want to check that out. But also from a good standpoint of you just don't want to lose all your work. You spent the time doing the research. You spent the time writing it and putting up the pictures, so you really want to keep it and have it just in case something happens and your blog gets shut down. I do know that the last webinar that Mike did on blogging, he discussed updated versions on how to copy or save your blog. It's very specific and very detailed and very easy to do. I'm still learning it, so verbally I'm not going to be able to tell you anything more than you should review it if you're going to start blogging, because he tells you how to set it up. So it automatically saves it both to your computer and to your email address, so you have it in 2 different places. And I think that's about it for now, unless you have something else, David.
We might go back to whether anyone needs help with marketing survival skills. If there's anyone new here who has any questions.
Your roasters are quiet today, David.
They're behaving for a
trying
change.
to fill the space while we're filling the space while I'm waiting for people to have the chance to write.
All right, now the other thing I just wanted to cover too is Tuesday's webinar. You can invite people to that webinar. I'll be doing a presentation for marketing survival skills at the end. And
I did want to put this in.
I'm just posting it in the
Go
chat
ahead.
box now.
Okay.
But that was pretty much it for me, unless anyone wants me to cover some of marketing survival skills like getting started.
I don't see any questions coming up. I just posted the Weebly link in there just in case you're interested in it. Once I learn the WordPress setup, because that's something I'm still learning, I will probably do a second blogging series for MSS on setting up, not just so that's something to look forward to in the future, recent future, because I'm actually learning this in class. I see a question. Let me see. Let's see. You tried to put up a WordPress blog with the pointers to MSS. Are you on a .com WordPress blog or a .org blog? Brian. Yeah, that's probably your problem, is that it's .com, because the .com WordPress, and this is something I just recently learned, They're very, very strict about what they allow and don't allow, because if you do something that gets them blacklisted, then their site gets affected by it. Your best bet if you're doing marketing is to have a .org WordPress site, because it gives you, that site is yours, and if you mess up, you're the only one that gets blamed for it. And so you have more freedom and more ability to do what you want to do from there. You can Google that, WordPress.com versus .org, and all of that information will come up on Google explaining the difference and why. I can't specifically say that that was the reason you had a problem getting it to point to MSS. From what I read and learned when I was researching it for someone else just recently, that's most likely what your problem is, that it's a .com site and not a .org. Now you can buy a domain that's .com and put your name like Mike does, who is MikeHobbs.com, and attach it to a .org WordPress site. But if you're using WordPress.com itself, you're going to be seriously restricted on what you can do. So my recommendation is check out the .orgs and see what you can come up with that works better for you, because overall in the long run, you're going to be a lot happier with the .org than with the .com.
And they're very easy to set up too. With the marketing survival skills hosting.
Okay, that sounds like a good, if that's what works for you, David, hosting it there is not going to, I mean, you might as well go ahead and stick with what you know. And he just mentioned that he had a .org site on another location. I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with the information he put there for the, but like my blog is on Weebly, because when I was doing it, I set this up myself. I had very little help. I had some friends who gave me pointers here and there, but I did most of the work on my own, and I had never blogged before. So the fact that I was able to set pretty easily is a testament to Weebly. But like I said, it's very limited on their free site anyway. So I am looking into moving over to a WordPress theme. My only problem with the WordPress is that I want to keep my theme that I have here, and I'm not sure I can do that on WordPress. So I have to investigate it and find out, because I happen to like the pictures and things that I have on here. To me, I have visual problems, and that's another pointer on the blogs. Having a darker background or something that isn't white with words that are easily seen, like either the browns or white, if you want to do white, is much easier for people on their eyes. It kind of invites them, and they want to stay because it's not hurting their eyes. When you do a black type on a stark white background, people aren't going to, it has an effect on their eyes that makes them not want to stay there for a real long time. So you might find that they are not as willing to read and stick around when you do that, although that is the standard. If you look around, you'll find that the blog sites that have the darker background are more inviting. It's more like going home and reading something. And personally, I recommend it. Because for people that do have visual problems or sensitivities, it's just much easier to do it this way. And you're dealing with a lot of people who are over 40, so you're going to be dealing with a lot of people who have visual problems. I think that's going to conclude it for now. I don't see any more questions, David, unless you have something else you want to add.
No, I think we're pretty right. I just hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday's webinar.
Alrighty. Bye.